Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar tonight. We're going to talk about a subject that is, well, I think is one of the most important financial subjects to talk about, particularly when you got someone depending on you, on us for financial support. Because if this is not done right, it could cause all kind of shortfalls in the coming years. My name is Ricky Pitts, and I'll be your host for tonight, and we're going to talk about this subject of life insurance, and we're going to talk about the difference of whole life and term. This is not a real, popular subject. It's not a real exciting subject, but it's a necessary part of the financial planning process. It is estate planning 101. I'd like to encourage you to take some notes tonight. I want to encourage you to invite friends and family that may not be on right now to log in and take some this information and apply it to your life if you haven't already done it, and then encourage those that are connected to you to do the exact same thing. What you see here is buy the right kind of life insurance. Now, if there's a right kind, it stands to reason there's the other kind. That's not necessarily the right kind for that family situation. And what you see here is a family. A wife, a husband, a son. What you also see is that father is fading in the background. And see, here's what's scary about that. Nobody knows it. It's undetected often. And then all of a sudden, that person, be it the mother, be it the father, be it the son, be it the daughter, is no longer here. And that's what you see in a case like this. Now, everybody on this webcam tonight, I'm sure you know someone that's close to you that has happened to. And the first thing we say from my hometown, I hope they had their business straight. That's what we say. Now, they don't say it out loud. They don't say it during the service, but this is what they say at home. I hope they had their business affairs in order, because when that happens, it is there. I want to talk to you now about what you should know, what we all should know about life insurance. Number one, what is its purpose? I mean, what's the main reason for buying life insurance? It's not for saving money. It's not for emergency funds. It is to replace the loss of an income in the event of a premature death. Ladies and gentlemen, death is always premature. It's unintended. It's always a devastating situation. But all of us know on this Zoom tonight, it happens every day. Number two, what should you buy? With all the different choices out there today now, oh my goodness, it's mind-boggling how many different kinds and names of life insurance. We're going to talk about what you should buy tonight. The third one, who should buy it? At one time, people said if you are young, you don't need life insurance, you got a good job, you don't have any kids, you don't have a mortgage, you don't need it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you tonight, that mindset has shifted. There are so many people now that's solid, single, serious, stable, and they have a grandmother depending on her, or a grandfather depending on her, or mother or father depending on their income. And every month, they send them $250, $500, $1,000. Every month they transfer it to that checking account and they depend on it. If all of a sudden he or she is gone, that family is going to feel the pain. There's something also called the theory of decreasing responsibility. Now, what that means is this. In the early years, the kids are young, there's high debt, there's a mortgage, and the loss of an income during that time of life is going to be rough. But everybody on this webcam tonight, the Zoom call tonight, has gone through different seasons of life. Just like in our natural seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall, wintertime always come back around. But in life, when the wintertime rolls around, if things are not in place, it's going to be real, real hard for the family. So the question is, what season are you in now? Right now on this side, all these things here have to be covered during the early seasons. But as time progresses, things are going to change. And on this side over here, the kids are grown, the debts are lower, the mortgage is paid, And on this side over here, we've got to have cash money. We got to have something we can use while we're walking on top of the ground, which is why it's so important to put money back in Roth IRAs. We'll talk about that some tonight. 401ks, TSPs, your tax sheltered accounts at work. And when you get to the end of that working journey, there's some other things that can be done to roll those funds over and keep it moving and keep it working for you. Now, how much is enough? The experts say 10 times. And when they say 10 times, if you're making $50,000 a year, that means you need $500,000, 500,000. Making $75,000 a year, $750,000. Making $100,000 a year, $1 million in coverage. Now, you might not be able to get necessarily what you need, but in most cases, we can get more than what we have. And that's what we're trying to encourage tonight, get more than what we have. Now, how should we buy life insurance? Well, what's a good way to buy it? The same way you buy car insurance, home insurance, health insurance, for protection only. We don't want to buy life insurance for reasons other than the purpose, lest we defeat the purpose. And that's what happens around the country now, because agents have so many creative ways to sell life insurance and make it sound like the best thing since sliced bread, and forget all about the purpose. Now let's talk about different types. We're going to talk about cash value first. Typically, it has a higher premium initially. It includes an investment component, and in traditional programs, you get the cash, or this is a key word here, or the life insurance, but you don't get both of them, not both. In certain plans, you will get both, but it's going to cost you more, and we're going to look at that tonight as well. What about term insurance? Term insurance, you have a lower initial premium. Eventually, will go up, and we're going to talk about that some tonight as well. There's no investment component, but you control your investment on your own, and it's pure death protection. I was talking to one of my clients up in the Birmingham area earlier today. She's a business owner, and I was so glad to talk with her. One of her friends that got involved with us part-time showed her what we do, and she became a client. And somebody from a whole life agent came and talked with her and tried to get her all confused and made her think whole life is better than term. So she was about ready to drop it. So we did a review meeting, and talked about what she has. And I won't call her name, but she knows who she is. She's a very, very sharp person, business owner, single mother. She has in excess of $300,000 of life insurance on her in term that we put on her. She has a Roth IRA that's doing pretty good. It hadn't grown tremendously yet. She's not been in it for a long time. Approximately $3,000 in the Roth IRA. She's putting aside $125 per month. So we sit down and went over the concept and why you buy life insurance: for protection. Why you buy life insurance: leave a legacy to the family. Why you buy life insurance: to replace the loss of an income, and keep putting your money back in your Roth IRA. I showed her a hypothetical of approximately $3,000, and she said she's going to raise her Roth from $125 to $150 per month. Well, in 360 months, that's right at $300,000 in her Roth IRA. She said, "Oh, now I see it. Down the road, my investments will act as my life insurance. I don't need it then." She's right. You know why? Because she's self-insured. If she dies and she has right at over $300,000 in a Roth IRA, her daughter, which is her main concern, can take what they need from that cash, have a nice burial, and keep it moving. You control your investment. Now, cash value. How do you know what you're paying for cash value? It's hard to determine that in what they call a bundle product. Bundle product has the savings and insurance combined together. Cash value policies make it very difficult to get that done, and they have real significant fees. And those fees drag down the return. Now, there's another one that's kind of on the block now called return of premium. Return of premium is like a little brother of whole life. Where it's a term policy, and with the term policy, you can get like a little rider, in addition, like an add-on, let me say it that way. And the add-on is going to cost more money, and because of that, when you keep that thing for the whole, let's say 20 years and you're still living, they give you your premium back. Or do they? Well, they've charged you for it. They've overcharged. I shouldn't say overcharged. They charge you more for that period of time to have that return of premium feature when you could have taken that same extra money and invest that money and had even more over that same period of time. See, insurance companies are real strategic. They're real sharp. They know how to put things together. And so look at what you have now and look at all the benefits you have now if you currently have a term policy and a mutual fund, and weigh the differences before you jump out there and make a change, particularly if you got it with us. Now let's talk about never buy life insurance as an investment. And that's a big, big problem here. People are looking at life insurance as an investment. You got a case here where they got a whole life policy, has $100,000 over here on him. Let me get my pen here. $100,000 on him. And they have level premiums, level death benefit and level premium until they're 100 years old. They're paying $123 per month. They have a $100,000 policy. By the time they get to 35 years old, 55 years old, they got a total at 55 years old, $21,000. By the time they get to 70 years old, they got a total here of $48,000. But here's the problem with that. If they die and they got this $21,000 over here, the family does not get the $21,000 plus the $100,000. They get one or the other. They don't get the $48,000 plus the $100,000. They get one or the other. Now you tell me, does it make any sense economically to pay for two things and only get one? I don't care how they fix that up. I don't care how they put a real pretty package on it, a beautiful bow on it. If I'm going to pay for two things, I got to get both of them. That just makes sense. If I go to a store, my wife took me to the store not long ago and bought me a suit. Okay, I don't like going shopping, but they love it. So they bought me a suit, and it was a three piece. Had the coat, the vest. They bought this little pocket handkerchief and all this stuff. So when I left out of the store, I had my vest, my coat, the pants, and everything that we bought. If they had told me at our store, you don't get the vest, you only get the pants, and you might get the coat, that wasn't going to be a real good day for them that day, right? So we don't pay for two things and only get one. Let's look at the difference. Buy term and invest the difference. They can take this same $123 a month right here. They're going to get $300,000 in coverage on him. And that's going to be a 35-year level term and level death benefit, meaning the coverage and the premium will stay the same for 35 years. The cost of that is $58 a month, $58 a month. That's $65 a month less. They're going to take this $65 here and put that money in a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA where they're going to get a much better rate of return than they're getting now inside of a bank. Now, we got a 9, a 6, and a 3. I'm going to concentrate today, for the sake of time, on that 9. By putting that $65 a month aside every month, at 55 years old, that's $43,000. Versus over here, they only have $21,000. By the time they are 70 years old, at 9%, ladies and gentlemen, they got $183,000 versus only $48,000 over here. And if they die over here on this side, the family is going to get this $183,000 and the $300,000 of life insurance. You know, that's not rocket science. That's like 2 + 2 is 4 every day, all day. We got to be willing to make a change when the change just makes a lot of sense. Now, there's a warning I want to put out here real quick now. Cash value life insurance may not be what you think it is. Look at all these different names. Cash value, whole life, permanent life, universal life, variable universal life, index universal life. And this new thing on the block, infinite banking, which makes them think they're borrowing from them, you know, they're their own personal banker. It's whole life insurance. I got to give it to the insurance company. They are very, very ingenious in coming up with these ideas that make them sound like you can fly. Literally, you can take wings and fly, but we cannot fly. And whole life insurance is whole life insurance, however we slice it. Now, I want to take the time and read this real slow here. It takes the average policy many years to build cash value. And the surrender value in the first few years is generally a fraction of the money you have already paid in the policy. So typically it takes anywhere from let's say from 2 to 5 years to see any kind of savings in the policy. To see a balance. You're putting money in day one, the first month, but it takes 2 to 5 years to even see a balance. That's not something that's good for me nor for you. Let's look at now the Index Universal Life, a more sophisticated version of whole life, a modified, dressed up version. And they got a little bit more coverage. They got $250,000 a piece, but they're paying a little bit more, $251 per month. And at 65 years old, they got a little bit more money saved, $127,000. They can put that same 251, the exact same thing here, in the budget. The difference is they still have the same 250,000, so that's still the same. But let's look at this. Of that 251 here, they're gonna take 88 of it to pay for that life insurance. There's 250,000 on him, 250,000 on her. They're gonna take the remaining 163 of this 251 and put that money in a Roth IRA. Look at the difference. $300,000 over here in their Roth IRA. If they die, the family gets this $300,000 here and the $250,000 of life insurance, not just one or the other. Again, this is not rocket science. This is just basic math. You know, we could learn how to sell something and make it sound so good, the way it's so convincing. And I've seen people say that I got a $75,000 whole life policy. You're showing me how I can get $250,000 for the same premium. But I think this whole life of $75,000 is better than the $250,000. And I say to them, suppose if you were to die and everybody living at some point will die. Your family right now is going to get $75,000 if you don't change. Now, if you got bad health and that health problems, keep what you got because you won't qualify for anything else. So let's make sure we use some good common sense now. But if you don't have anything that would prevent you from changing, if you die, your family would get $75,000. By changing and getting term and getting $250,000, if you die, they're going to get $250,000. Now, which one you want them to have? Don't even answer that question, because I don't want to insult your intelligence, because we all know that's just what? Common sense. There are 3 nevers to buying life insurance, ladies and gentlemen. This is our philosophy. The first never is never buy any kind of cash value or whole life insurance, including universal life, number 1. Number 2, the second never buy life insurance as an investment. It is too many things on the marketplace today that can get a huge, the rate of return is so different. It's like the sun and the moon. So we don't have to buy life insurance as an investment. There's too many other things that's far superior than life insurance. The third one, never buy a life insurance policy that pays dividends. You know why? A dividend is only a partial return of an overcharge. So think about this. I'll tell you, come down to my car lot, and I got a car lot, and we got used cars, and I'm gonna sell you this car. Let's say 2015 Toyota something, and the car, the market value of that car, the book value of that car, the sales value. Let's say it is, let's say $15,000. It's a high dollar Toyota, okay, 2015. I sell that car to you for $20,000. It's $15,000. And then I said, I tell you what, when you pay for this car over the next 5 years, we're going to finance it for 5 years. I'm going to charge you 29% interest. I'm going to overcharge you $5,000. And when you come back in the 6th year, I'm going to give you $5,000 back. Did you really give me 5,000? You overcharged me 5,000 and you financed the car for me at 29%. Don't ever buy a policy that pays dividends, ladies and gentlemen, because it is a partial return of an overcharge. And they say, okay, let me give some of this back to you and make the consumer feel that it's a gift. Here's what experts say. I'm going to go way back to 2009. Jane Bryant Quinn wrote a book back at that time called Making the Most of Your Money. Now, see if this is still relevant today. Term insurance is pure protection. Like fire insurance or auto insurance, its sole function is to support your family if you die. You can buy large amounts of coverage for modest amounts of money, and big policies are what your spouse and children need. So that's another way of saying this is legacy. It's generational wealth. It's a way to leave the family something to give them a leg up. Now, that's not saying you ran to die. Oh my goodness. Ooh, when is that day? No. It is to say that it will happen. When it does happen, why not leave the family in a much better place? Because if we've done the right thing, we're gonna be in a much better place. We ain't worried about nothing down here at that point, because you got streets of gold and you know how that goes, right? So let's leave them something down here to keep them moving. So that point that Jane Bryant Quinn said makes a whole lot of sense. Then Susie Orman said this also back in 2009, The Road to Wealth, a comprehensive guide to your money. She says, in my opinion, there's only one kind of life insurance that makes sense for the vast majority of us: term life insurance. It just makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. And it's important to understand that common sense ain't always so common. That's why we do these kind of meetings like this, to bring the information in layman terms so we can take our time, assess it, and say, all right, now he just showed me 2 plus 2, and I found out that 2 plus 2 in closing is 4. He just showed me that 3 plus 3, and I found out that it is 6. 4 plus 4, it is 8. No trick plays here. That's the way it is. And what I want to do tonight, as I get ready to bring this meeting to a close, I want to put this right now, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put this in the chat. And I want you to look at your chat. You'll see it here in just a moment. I'm going to put this book here called How Money Works. And so you should see it in just a moment. I want you to take that book from the chat, download it, and read it. It's 40 pages. It is a real simple, very powerful book. And you should see it in your chat right now. So please take your time, download that book, and ladies and gentlemen, read it, because this can make all the difference in the world. Hey, look, thank you so much for logging into our meeting tonight. We're going to have another meeting on the 16th of July at 7 p.m. We're going to talk about the debt elimination system. And some of that, you're going to read it in that book called How Money Works that I just sent to you tonight in your chat. Just click on download it, save it to your computer, to your documents, wherever you want to save that book, save it, and please read it. Hey, thank you. We've taken 22 minutes of your time tonight. We appreciate it more than we can tell you. We look forward to seeing you again on the 16th of July at 7 p.m. Y'all take care.